Hey, and welcome to the Mountain Cat Guitars podcast, where we discuss all things guitar related. My name is Doug Meyer, owner of Mountain Cat Guitars, and I've been buying and selling guitars professionally for over 25 years. From boutique guitar and amp builders, vintage guitar dealers and experts, guitar repairmen and luthiers, retailers, manufacturers, and of course guitar players, we talk to the people who buy, sell, play, and of course obsess over the things we love most, guitars.
I go for it.
Hi, this is Doug from Mountain Cat Guitars, and welcome to Mountain Cat Guitars podcast, episode number 8. Today we are very excited to have my old friend, James Cobra Carbonetti, here in the shop, straight from Brooklyn.
How's it going?
How are you, Cobra? Well, James is now James Carbonetti, but we know him as Cobra.
Yeah.
And we could start right at the beginning. I met you at Chelsea Guitars, where just about met everybody.
2004.
Wow, you've been prepared.
Yeah, I know my history.
2004, how long ago? 2004 is how many years ago? We'd have to
14 years
14
ago.
years ago. So how old were you?
18.
Oh, you were 18 when you started Chelsea?
Yeah.
I thought you were even younger.
No, I just had graduated high school.
Oh, that's right.
And I got the job because I was working for Giorgio Gomowski down the street.
Right.
And practicing at the red door or green door, depends on what era you were there.
That's who you talked to, right?
And I was working for Giorgio for like $50 a day.
And didn't you live there?
Well, I mean, maybe for a minute. We all had our nights there. Yeah, and then he was like, dude, you should play, or work at a guitar shop. Danny's down the street. I was like, that's a great idea, and Dave Shankoff also was pushing me to do that too, because I didn't really know what to do yet.
But didn't Danny hire you when I was away?
Yeah. Well, because
he always hired everybody when I was away. I'd come back and I'd be like, who the fuck is that person?
Yeah, I was a Danny guy first.
Yeah, right.
And then that switched. but I went in for the job and Danny said no, because we're good, we're fine. But who sent you? I was like, oh, Giorgio from that. She's like, Gomowski? He's like, if he comes in and tells me you're a good kid, I'll hire you.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I never knew
because
that.
He was like a big Eric Clapton Yardbird, so he knew of Giorgio and everything. And
he wanted to meet him.
So he's like, if he tells me you're a good kid, we'll hire you. And then that happened, and then worked there for a little bit, not knowing what the hell I was doing, and then got comfortable and showed up 4 hours late one day, and you fired me.
Yeah.
And
I wonder why. You always say I fired you. I don't remember why.
Well, because I didn't really know what to do.
But no one does,
totally.
at the beginning.
No, but it was funny, because also I was a Danny guy.
Right.
And
well, he would always hire people when I wasn't there. He hired Craig when I was on my honeymoon. I came back and I was like, who's that?
Who's that guy?
It's Craig. I'm like, what is Craig doing here? And Craig didn't know anything.
Yeah. But so you fired me, because I lost my shoes.
Oh, right. And you weren't the only Chelsea employee to have lost their shoes and not been able.
It happens.
Age called and was like, I can't come to work today. I was like, oh, why is that? He's like, I can't find my shoes. I was like, so you only have the one pair of shoes?
It happens, yeah. So then
when you had the
fired
shoe
me,
issue, I guess I was like, oh,
yeah.
maybe it's really a
I was
thing.
like, Doug, on my knees. And you rehired me. You're like, now you're my guy, and let's learn some guitars. And you taught me everything about vintage guitars.
Oh.
And that's when I became Doug's guy.
Yeah, I didn't like Danny guy. But I mean, it was all one big thing.
No, totally.
But Dan never really hired anybody who didn't work out.
No.
Ultimately, like.
He had a good eye,
He just liked funky people.
Totally.
Didn't you showed up like the second day in like a luge outfit.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was a good one.
The Canadian luge
outfit. 1986
Yeah, we were like
Calgary
on your
Olympics.
skateboard.
Yep. And my headband.
Yeah.
And an almost mustache.
Yeah, we're like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Danny's like, I knew I liked this kid.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you're like, oh, it was great. And then, but hanging out with like G.U. Smith, I remember the day G.U. Smith told me about Free. He's like, you gotta get into Paul Kossoff.
Right.
And you told me about Ronnie Wood, and was like, those are my
that's what Chelsea was about, really. Like,
yeah.
I remember, I kind of knew who Peter Green was, but those guys were Peter Green freaks. And then for like 2 years, all we listened to was Peter Green.
Yeah.
Every day, all day.
Totally.
Peter Green.
That was it was like going to college for real.
Yeah, you sit there with like GE, and it would show you how those songs are played.
Yeah.
You're like, where is this ever?
The thumb is over here.
Yeah, he just show you shit. He's like, oh yeah, I saw him play back then. He was doing this. It was just an amazing place to be.
Yeah.
You know,
it was awesome.
And then you worked there at the same time as Daniel, right?
Yeah, we crossed paths.
Yeah, because Daniel came and went, and Maddie was probably gone when you came on.
Yeah.
Maddie was probably in college.
Yep. Yeah, I was there from 2004 to 2006 maybe.
That's it?
A couple years.
Oh, that's right, because I went to 30th Street and then you came with me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's funny because to put all these years together, I'm not 100% sure when I started and stopped there. I think I was there for about 12 years, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
You know, like, because it's all, there was the Roger period.
Yeah.
There was the...
So I just missed all that in the Chris Trainer period.
Right, it was right before you.
That was all, like...
Yeah, and they're all different periods.
Years before me.
Right, and there was the Daniel Jackson period, and that's why we want to do the Chelsea Guitars reunion podcast.
It'd be the best.
Get as many people as we could get who worked there in one podcast. Because imagine...
It'd be too funny.
Yeah, the craziness that went on there. Like, and no one ever believes that.
Remember the gate fell on me that one night? Closing up in the spring.
And then I had the broken gate sale because Danny was in England.
Yep.
And I called around to fix the gate, which was expensive, and I didn't want to ruin his vacation.
She didn't.
Because he would have flew home.
Yeah.
He was seeing Cream in England.
Yeah.
So you had to climb under the gate for the broken gate sale because I couldn't. And I raised enough money to fix the gates.
Yeah.
I was fucking genius.
Yeah.
The broken gate sale. I was like, all right, I put a note.
Every time.
Climb under here and I'll give you a good deal because we need new gates. I forgot. That was
a good one.
Pretty good thinking because it was like it was like $2,000.
Business 1 and 1.
Yeah. I sold a few things. I fixed the gates. And Dan came back. He's like, these gates look different. I'm like, yeah, they're a little different.
Broke.
I hope we got a good deal. Did you call gypsies? Like, no. Remember Danny's thing with gypsies? Everybody had to be a gypsy.
Them. Everyone. That's the only people you do business.
Remember the gypsy who was painting the sign and he fell and broke his leg? Yep. And then he never came back.
The thing is, the gypsy, he's not going to come and sue you.
Right, and Danny kept giving him money, too. So I was like, then don't give the gypsy money.
That was a good one.
That was outrageous.
That was right in the same time as, like, 3D Bob.
Right.
And you got to get him on here. That'd be good.
I know. I was at Chelsea, like, last week or 2 weeks ago, and they see Bob all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was a crazy period.
Yeah.
So getting to guitars.
Yeah.
So when you started at Chelsea, like, there was just ripping back then with vintage guitars every day.
I mean, I was in love with that 57 Junior that was in the window. I got really into Juniors, and that's when they were $2,000 and they jumped to $10,000 within a year.
Yeah. But you were into it straight from the beginning. I remember seeing you like staring at weather
I was obsessed.
You were obsessed, and that was right when the Nashes were coming out, the earliest kind of relic things. They weren't particularly good.
No.
But they were happening. You'd see a no-caster like from Fender that was nice, and you'd be like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. The Rossington guitars came out, and those were cool. But you immediately had that interest, and you were like a kid.
Yeah, didn't know what the hell I was doing. Craig was starting to show me some repair stuff.
Right, and you took to that really quickly. Yeah. That's why you were already like half a repair guy right from the beginning. But you were aging guitars for Danny from the
top. And I just feel lucky of feeling the real stuff first. I feel like a lot of people, either doing the relics or the aging stuff or whatever, haven't felt a 57 gold top.
Right.
Haven't felt like Danny's old Fender prototype or like the shit that you can see that you can't really see now.
Right. Well, that's the thing. A lot of people's relic work isn't.
It's not really real.
Right. It's interesting, but it's not. It doesn't look real. It looks like an old, like even Fender stuff. It just looks like someone jabbed away at it.
And also being a musician, as you are and I am, we've played instruments for a long time and see what happens.
Right. And you very rarely see, even vintage guitars. You really rarely see one that's beat up as these relics are. You see one once in a while.
Yeah.
The guy must have toured a lot with, but you never see him like Rory Gallagher's guitar. Occasionally Bobby had that Strat.
Remember I got the Chelsea guitar, the Junior? That thing got pretty torn up. But
Did I see it somewhere recently?
Yeah, it's around. I still have it.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I've changed parts on that so many times. Put a Bigsby on it, take it off, or whatever. Put a Strat pickup.
That's right. That was like your thing, and you were still in the subject.
That was when I was in the subject, so that was my first real guitar. Because I was so into Juniors, and he was like, we
were you toured
guitars.
with that thing?
Oh, yeah. Because Brian Monty made those first run, and they were cheap.
Right.
They were balsa wood.
There were only two of them.
Yeah.
There was yours and the other one.
I got one from Danny's lawyer.
Oh, Ronald.
I got Ronald's guitar.
Right. There were like two of them.
$500.
Like the two prototypes.
Yeah.
The other one I think is still there.
That's awesome.
It's somewhere in there.
Yeah.
You know, like, but those were really cool. Yeah, Brian Monty made, juniors.
Yeah.
That we were selling there.
Thinnest lacquer.
Yeah, it was really well done. They were like basswood or something, cheap. They were supposed to be like $900.
Yeah.
But those were cool. So
they were great.
Yeah, right when you started at Chelsea, you were still touring. We were touring constantly.
A ton. Yeah, so it was in and out.
Yeah, you went away for like a few months at one point in like a station wagon.
Yep.
Or someone's mother's car.
Dave's mom's Lexus that we toured 4 of us, and we had the U-Haul hitch. We had a hitch put on.
You were in it for months, though.
Oh yeah, we would camp outside of like Walmart in the patch of grass. 2 in the car and 2 in a tent.
Oh.
The good old days.
For very long periods of time.
Yeah, we did it. We did a bunch of tours. I remember we toured. Like this band, The Walkmen, got us to tour with them. And they're like, you could tour with us, but you have to drive our van to California.
Oh, I remember that.
We're like, sure.
Okay.
No problem.
Yeah, let's do that.
We did this whole camping excursion, like the White Sands Desert, the whole fucking thing.
So when you grew up in New York City?
Yeah, I grew up on Roosevelt Island.
That's right.
And then, then I moved to Greenpoint right before I started working at Chelsea.
Right.
And then...
Right, because you were living in Brooklyn right when you were already in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And you were already in the Subjects because you had already done.
The Subjects we started in like 2003 when we were still in high school.
That's right. They
were our high school teachers, Dave and Joe. Yeah, and me and Matt. And Matt was on drums.
Right.
Yeah, and we did that.
Yeah, that's right. Matt was a drummer. I always forget that.
We did that till 2009.
Yeah, you guys did a lot of shit.
Yeah, toured.
Played a million shows.
Yeah, Barry Ballroom, the whole thing.
Yeah, you guys were everywhere.
We were having
California.
a lot of fun. Yeah, we did it.
That was what was cool about Chelsea is you could do that.
Yeah, everyone understood.
Everyone was doing their thing. It's like, oh, you're leaving for a month? Okay, cool.
Show up when you're supposed to.
Right. Or close to it.
Close to it. There was a time, remember, I disappeared for 3 days from Chelsea with Greg Gehring and Mike Whitty.
Yeah, well, Danny fired you for that.
He did. But he didn't.
But you just came back to work when you got back.
Like George Costanza, like, this was a joke.
He was really pissed that next day. He's like, what do you mean you left? Because I was there when you left.
But like more like
we were
a
hanging out at
father pissed.
Bar. Right, yeah, he was just like, well, he shouldn't do that.
He should have told
what
me.
would you have done? Like, there's a giant tour bus, a bunch of psychos, and they say, come with us and go have a good time. You're like,
that was the night I got the name Cobra from Mike Whitty.
That was the night, yeah. I remember that night. I was there.
Yeah.
We were all at Sinead Bar. That's how I was playing at Sinead Bar.
Yeah.
And it was Rosie Flores and that whole, it was a tour.
Yeah, it was Greg Gehring.
Greg Gehring, Rosie Flores, someone else Mike was playing with.
Mike was playing bass and doing sound.
Yeah,
tour managing.
Yeah, it was a disaster. Some wealthy guy put up the money for this thing.
It was a week tour. And we didn't leave Manhattan.
We never got to any of the shows.
The thing broke down. Someone was wasted in the Bronx. They had to go find him. No one knew what was happening.
None of the shows actually happened.
Maybe one.
Yeah, maybe one.
At the Slipper Room. And that was it.
It was like 3 blocks away.
Yep.
I think the first show, was like in Virginia.
And then I remember...
never get close.
No. And I remember we were driving and about to go into the tunnel to start going. And then I was like... I've had enough.
The 4 days I slept out of Manhattan, I can still see my house.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna re-emerge myself.
Yeah, so I remember Danny was like so upset. I was like, dude, what are you gonna do? How old you were? 18? I was like, at 18 years old, would you have done that, dude? He was like, yeah.
I came back and I worked.
Yeah, I think for one day he's like, you can't work here anymore. You have to, if you say you're gonna be here, you gotta be here. And you were like,
he was right.
He was right.
But it's Chelsea Guitars.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only person who ever got fired from Chelsea, I don't think it was even possible, really.
Yeah.
Because everyone did incredibly dumb shit.
Yeah. You fired me and rehired me on the spot. It's just making a point.
I fired Craig even.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't know who he was.
And now I know. Now it's nice to meet you.
I don't know my best friend, but I remember Danny hired him. I came back from my honeymoon, and I walk in the store, and I'm like, look in the repair area, and someone's repairing guitars back there, and it's Craig,
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
That tattoo.
Yeah, that crazy beard thing. I was like, that guy does not look okay. He looks like a psycho.
And he's the best.
Yeah, but he didn't know shit. He was like, went to one of those schools for like 2 weeks. And Danny's throwing like 53 Les Pauls at him. He's like, I don't know how to do this. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Just look like it'll be fine.
Yeah.
We sent him to Richie Bax because he couldn't wire anything.
Yeah.
And then he told us the whole story. That was the first night we went drinking with him. And he said, like, can I, because I was like, you went to a Lutheran school, how come you can't wire a guitar? And he was like, he would just like duck the question. And then finally he goes, we're having a few beers, and he goes, "Can I tell you why I can't wire a guitar?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, "When they taught that at the school, I was in jail." I was like, "Oh, I
like you even more.
Like, you are my guy now.
I'm buying you a beer."
Yeah, it's like 2 things are gonna happen tomorrow. You're gonna go to this guy Richie Max, who's gonna teach you how to wire a fucking guitar, and you are like getting a raise.
Yeah.
And then I called Danny and told him, he's like, "Greatest thing I've ever heard."
That's awesome.
Send him to Richie Max.
Yep. Yeah, but I feel
That was
like,
the way it is. If someone was cool, Danny was down. Like,
yeah,
you know.
and like you guys were like, dude, go out all night, tell me stories. Like,
Yeah.
it was fun.
Oh, you guys would roll in just like such a
still,
mess.
Still up.
Yeah, most people they're rolling in all kinds of banged up condition. But that's what was cool. Like, you can't do that at a guitar center.
No.
You know, that's what guitar shops were like. Was they were like where musicians did their things.
Yeah.
And when all our customers were like us too.
Yeah,
You know,
but you treat people with respect, and you had fun. You gave their guitars respect.
right, and it was a club.
Yeah.
You know, and you could be in it if you were just into guitars and weren't a fucking asshole.
Exactly.
You know, like then you're in. You got to
Yeah.
tons of guitars and we'll do crazy shit.
That's where I
mess with
learned.
really great guitars.
Yeah.
You know, and learn about playing music.
Totally.
You know, and look at that. You know, like,
Exactly.
I always think I was super fortunate to like have gotten my job there.
Yeah.
Because I hung out there all the time like
Changed my
everybody
life.
else.
And,
Yeah,
you
it changed
too.
the whole course of my life. You know, and I talked to the fellow whose job I took, my friend Dwayne, who was in Four Horsemen, like had my job.
Yeah.
And then I of course wanted to work there, but he had that job, you know, and I was doing other dumb shit, and then I got fired from some job. And I was just hanging out at Chelsea, and he called me one night, and he's like, "Look, I'm moving back to Georgia. Like,
Yeah.
would you take my job?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, man. I hate to see you go, but like,
I'm in.
I'm there."
Yeah.
You know, like, and without that, I probably wouldn't have been in the guitar business.
Same
Just
here.
a lucky break.
I've thought about this so many times of like the road and just where it really started, and it's so funny of just like randomly working for Georgia and then into meeting you. And
Right.
then
Well, the
going-
Chelsea just seemed to pull people into it.
There's a big magnet of
You know,
that.
like most things, even like Mountain Cat, like what I do now.
Totally.
Like, it seems the idea of it for me was like I was done with stores.
Yeah, so like-minded people.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just going to open a place and let the energy go out, and usually it picks up like energy.
Yeah.
You know, and then I've had just an amazing time with amazing people the whole time. You know, just super folks. You know,
Yeah.
I keep finding them because it's not. I don't advertise all that much. I just want the right people. I don't even want a lot of customers.
Totally.
I just want the right customers who dig what we're doing.
Exactly.
You know, who respect what we're
means a lot
doing. We
more
respect
than-
them. Yeah, I just don't want people who are dicks. You know, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't want to deal with fucking assholes
Yeah.
anymore. You know, like, and I don't get any.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
like.
same
If you
here.
present it the right way, stores just became very hard to keep cool. You know,
all the rules and
it's just like because guitar centers, I think, and not to slag Guitar Center, but when you have a corporate type thing like that, and the people don't have that same love for the thing, it's more of just selling a thing.
it could be shoes.
It becomes adversarial almost.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they don't like their job. They're getting shit on by the people up above them.
Yeah.
So they're not happy. And then the customers come in.
And they start to hate
And they're not
music.
nice to the customers. Right. And they're cranking this music that's so loud. It's just not the right environment. Like, years ago when you walk into a guitar shop, like the bells would go off. You'd start seeing guitars. You see the
Yeah.
guy behind the counter looks just like the guy behind the counter at your shop.
Yeah,
He's a little
yeah, yeah.
different. He's listening to maybe a little different music,
Yeah, yeah.
but same dude. He's reading good vintage guitar magazine.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
And that's when you would even tour around the country. You would just hit the local guitar shops. That's where you find your people.
We still do that all the time.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
There are still some little shops out there,
Yeah.
but not like it used to be. It was
No.
a whole network of them.
Totally.
Like, if you were going to Albany, you were going to Lark Street.
Exactly.
You knew if you went to Rochester, you were going to House of Guitars.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's how you planned your life.
Yeah.
Now, like a lot of them have gone. Like Lark Street's down here now,
Yeah.
which is great. But in House of Guitars, I think still. But there was so many little shops. Syracuse had shops. You could just Ohio had tons of them. There were just so many great little guitar shops, and mostly, the guitar business has changed so much. Where there's little places like mine and yours. Like if there were still guitar shops, we'd probably still be working in them.
Yeah.
But it forces people to go do their own things because you can with the internet.
Exactly.
You don't have to pay $10,000 rent to do what you do.
You don't need a storefront in Manhattan.
Right, to make these guitars.
Yeah.
You couldn't do it. You just
then you're just paying.
it's just too much money.
Yeah.
Right. You just can't just be cool. Then you have to sell
yeah.
beginner guitars and do lessons just to cover the rent. You could never do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's why Chelsea was such a magical place. All kinds of things just went on.
Pressure was different. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like a regular business. It was like a clubhouse almost.
Yeah.
And everyone was
Big-time
doing their things, and
clubhouse.
as long as it made enough money that Danny was happy, then
Yeah.
he didn't care what went on in there. He liked all that.
Yeah. That was the art of it.
Yeah, he'd love to find like Neela. Remember Neela who worked there? Like
Yep.
he just called me at home one day because she walked in. She was young, and she said, "I want to learn how to play guitar like John Lee Hooker."
Yeah.
And then for Dan,
got
he's
a job.
like, "Wait a second," calls me at home like, like there's a girl here. She wants to learn how to play like John Lee Hooker. Will you teach her guitar? I was like, sure.
Yeah.
So she comes over, and then like a couple weeks later, we needed coverage for somebody.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, you want to work at the guitar store? She
Like
was
Jack's or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Next thing she's working there. She was great.
Yeah.
She started answering the phone, Chelsea Guitars. That's awesome.
Yeah.
She was a real character, but that place just did that, and then
Yeah.
we're all here. I mean, Daniel,
we're
half the
all-
people I know,
It all
worked at
came.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
So let's pivot and. Because I'm looking at these things, I don't want to get to them somehow. So we both worked at Chelsea, and then I went to 30th Street Guitars,
Then you got me there.
and I brought you there.
Yeah.
Because you were doing your thing, you were aging guitars, and you started aging guitars there. That really started to catch on.
Yeah.
And that's when Eli entered the picture.
Yeah, and Eli is the champion. Like, he just believed in me in a way which was amazing. I remember working on one of his guitars, and he was like, dude, if you ever want to do something, let me know. I'm down. And I told him no for like a year or 6 months.
Yeah, it was an odd coincidence that Eli was a really old friend of mine.
Yeah.
Like he was, and I lost touch with him for years because I think he moved somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I knew he was actually the manager of my band really early on for a minute. I forget how I even met him, but he was like booking gigs for us. And then he, I think he moved to LA or something, or he would move somewhere else.
Moved somewhere and then came back.
And then came back, and then I think I was already at 30th Street. We reconnected,
Yeah.
and he was into buying guitars, all that stuff. And then he discovered you.
Yeah.
And I think I had already left.
Yes. You
And then
just left.
to come up here.
Yeah.
And then you guys kind of did that.
Yeah, then we started Cobra Guitars together in 2010.
Was that 2010?
2010.
So no, it couldn't have been because was I already living up here?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess so.
You were.
Because I think I moved
You were
here
already
right at the
gone.
end of 2009.
Yeah.
That's right, because even when you guys put the whole thing together and you left 30th Street, I was already up here.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right, because I remember going to the grand opening with Brian Monty.
Yeah, and that was
driving
at
from
the
up
Red
here.
Door. That was at Georgia's.
Right, that was a great night.
Yeah, Jeff's band played. That was a crazy night.
That was a crazy
Brian
night.
came.
Yeah, he was staying at my house.
Yeah.
I drove him in.
That was the best.
Yeah, that was a crazy night.
I remember I was late to the party.
Oh yeah,
Because I was still
Trying to
making
finish
these guitars. Like during the last screw. Dude, it's 9 o'clock. Where the fuck are you?
I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah, hold on. I'm about to jump in a cab. It's like 10 o'clock.
That's right.
Tell Jeff to start playing.
Yeah, just someone play some music.
Yeah.
That's right. There were a lot of people there.
Yeah, it was a good one.
That's right.
I come in like all covered in like
sawdust and
sawdust. Yeah.
That's right. I forgot.
Die.
Yeah, so that was a big thing. And Cobra Guitars was on the East Village.
Yeah, it was right next to Hell's Angels.
Yeah, that was a fun little
It
spot.
was awesome. We found it on Craigslist for like $700.
I think it was a $700 place in New York City.
It was a little like below.
It was subterranean.
office.
Yeah.
And we were there for a while, for like a couple years.
Yeah.
And
You were like shooting nitro out on the sidewalk.
Oh, yeah,
The whole
but
sidewalk in front of that building was like glowing.
yeah, because we had the little wall there, and I figured, I was like, no one really knows what lacquer smells like.
Well,
And
the
it's
Hells
New York
Angels are
City.
right there.
Yeah,
so like,
no one cares. No one's gonna question anything.
anything, whatever.
It was really like the safest block in the world. Like, you can do
Yeah.
whatever, just don't piss them off.
Yeah, just be cool.
Like, I remember one time Billy Gibbons was by, and they asked, like, hey, Cobra, do you mind if we come say? I was like, give me a second. Gibbons, is it right if the Hells Angels come? He's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it's cool with those guys.
Yeah, but you never know. It's like, oh, you were with my girlfriend.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I got Billy Gibbons killed.
Slice.
I'm sure, like, we like ZZ Top.
Yeah, it's like it
We
was
like
always-
your music to
it was
party to.
really fun, and that was my mindset too. Of like Chelsea Guitars, you make it a clubhouse, and they will come.
Yeah, well, that was a total clubhouse. That was
Oh,
like,
my God,
I
that
remember
was-
walking in there like 11 in the morning with Night Bob. And just like
Pickles
a
was sleeping.
cloud of smoke. Someone's sleeping over there.
I was taking a bong hit.
Yeah, the place reeks of weed, and then like some guy walks in with his kid. It's like someone's snoring
Play
on
it
the
cool.
couch. You're like, yeah, be cool, dude.
Hey,
Hi.
Yeah.
How old is that kid?
he's got to learn one day.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's why I'm grateful for Eli too. Of just like he got it.
Right.
And like,
well, that's what I wanted when I opened Mountain Cat. I wanted it to be Chelsea Guitars again.
That's I think our thing. Like,
yeah, because you want that feeling of somewhere where someone can be comfortable. And doing their thing and have fun.
Exactly.
You know, Chelsea was always, the bottom line was always like, we were always making prank phone calls.
Oh, man.
Like, we were
sending Junior to 48th Street Guitar, or 27th
Street Guitars.
Yeah.
I don't think we did it to Junior. We did that to...
Wait, 27th Street? Isn't that the street that 30th Street Guitars is now on?
Oh, weird.
Look at that.
Look at that. Yeah, well, who do we send to West Side Highway Guitars? And then... they're like, I'm on the West Side Highway, and I don't see it. We're like, what are you, fucking stupid? Like, just come back here.
Yeah.
We spent half our time making phone calls.
Yeah.
You know, like, but that was fun. Like, Danny didn't care about any shit.
No.
And that day, like, Jackson and Junior, we give them the job of going through all of Danny's pedals in the back. And seeing which ones worked and which ones didn't. And so for 2 days, they sit back there, they smoke cigarettes, and they play with these pedals. And then they're like, we're done. And we're like, oh, cool. So do you have the list of which ones work and which ones don't? And they're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, well, which ones work, which ones don't? I don't know.
Yeah. There was
You're like writing it down. They're like, no.
There's a lot of those projects, or like the upstairs, the case project.
Oh yeah, that one went on for years. Yeah, endless moving around.
It's just the new guy. Just go move some shit around upstairs or in the back.
Yeah, well, there's that point where who was up there, Roger and somebody, and they just wanted to hang out up there, so they would just sit up there, and every once in a while they'd hit something, just make a noise like they were moving things around.
I've definitely been up there taking gig bag naps.
Yeah,
you come and feel
Dennis Kelly invented that. Like, he would come and be like, "I'm hungover. I'll be up there sleeping," and like someone would come in and they'd be like, "Is Dennis here?" And you would hear, I'd be like, "Well, you go wake him up. I'm not fucking doing it." He was hungover.
Yeah, the gig
he would just come in and be like, "Gig bag bed."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You'd hear him go, "Broke." That was it. He's out.
All had it.
Yeah, Danny would come in like, "Where's Dennis?" I'd be like,
yeah.
Really?
The one that was on the left. That one.
That one was the better sleeping one. Yeah.
A little more secret.
Yeah, I slept in the middle of the floor there once. Came out, it was like at the flu.
Yeah.
And I was like an hour early. I was like, I gotta get some sleep.
That's where it was cold.
It was freezing. It was terrible.
The marble floor.
Yeah, like, oh.
And Danny's like, that's where Tesla had lunch.
Yeah. Yeah, Nikolai Tesla was here. I was like, whatever.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, who cares?
It's awesome. You feel it.
So, Cobra guitars, which basically are these guitars. The first Cobra guitars were Tellys.
Well, the first Cobras, Brian Monty were making the necks and the bodies for me. Right. And they were thin line Tellys. I did a couple Strats.
But you had the aging thing already together. Those were just very heavily aged, really cool. You know, they had aesthetic. You already had a headstock, which is like this headstock, but it was different.
Had the
thing.
C. Right. But then I was cutting the Telly bridges. I was always trying to make
you were doing interesting shit already. And then very quickly, I had a 335 you'd built there. Yeah. That was real cool, and it already went right into...
Yeah, I made Chris Traynor that... That's like the 335s, but they were
He has one with
bolt-on.
P90s.
Yeah. But it was like always trying to switch around, like... All right, Gibson never made that, a 335 with P90, so it still had the
we always talked about that.
Yeah.
Why did they make that?
The 2 dog ears. Right. Because G. Smith always said dog ears sound better than soap bars. Which he'd always take his 57 special.
He put dog ears in them.
Yeah, put dog ears.
So you could see it.
Yeah.
In the back position only, though.
Only in the back. Yeah. Because it had the junior sound. Right. Because the soap bars are different. So then do that, then I did bolt-on necks. And... So just kept it different. Then big V-necks, always loved those.
Yeah, we were just big gigantic.
And then I got really into rounding off the fretboards a lot. So like my
those are really cool. I'm sure there's a bunch out there.
Yeah, I ended up making 35 or 40.
Oh wow! I didn't know there were that many. Yeah, that's right. You were banging those out. Yeah. You were like great at promoting that company.
Yeah, we had a fun time. And then that Premier Guitar thing.
Basically, what happened was your band got busy.
Basically, yeah. That's what always was great about this too. It was like having the band and then the shop. The whole thing was that
the band played those guitars.
Yeah,
like Jeff had the bass, you had the guitar.
We just started Caveman at the same time, right? At 2010.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing of the symmetry of it. You were making the instruments that your band was playing.
Yeah, it's like nope, you got to play this. Here's a guitar.
I mean, they were cool instruments.
Junior with the horse on it.
Yeah,
the Johnny Thunders one.
That was a really cool one. Jeff has that bass.
Yeah,
and Matt was playing the guitar too. Yeah. So that was like a hip thing.
Yeah.
So that was you don't really saw a band like that, like a band, and that guy's making the instruments for the band, and he's in the band.
Yeah. And then
you guys got hot immediately, and then you went on tour forever.
Yeah. Then we were gone. For our second record, we were on tour for 3 years. It's like real. I was like doing.
Yeah, like where's Cobra? And like New Zealand.
Yeah, we were in Iceland for a week.
Yeah, you were everywhere. I thought you'd be like, Jesus Christ, you've seen the whole world already. Buddy.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good time. Now we're recording our 4th record, which is crazy, and it's our 4th shop of Carbonetti Guitars. I've moved a few times. So when we did Cobra Guitars, we're on 3rd Street.
Right.
Then that ended. And then I moved into Robert James Menswear Shop.
Right.
So that was awesome too. That was also
a cool
another
space also,
clubhouse. So our friend Robert James had the menswear shop on Orchard Street, and you'd go into his suit shop and go to the top floor.
I remember that. That was a cool thing.
And then it would just be the same thing, like a big cloud of smoke. And we always had the record player.
Right.
That's the first thing that moves in.
Yeah, always.
Set up the record player.
Yeah, let's do this.
And then build benches, and we were there for 3 years.
That's right. I forgot that.
And then
that's when I was just up here.
Yeah, you're up here building it.
Thing, you know, like.
And we did a bunch of guitars there, but right before that, I had met Moss.
Right.
And Eric from Labella.
Well, wasn't Moss was part of the original Cobra Guitars on 3rd Street?
Yeah. So I met him through Mojo. He's like, you gotta know Moss.
Like, and that's Moss Hino for all you folks at home.
Moss Hino NYC, the man.
And he is part of what you now have is the guitar shop, which is you and Moss and Eric from Labella Strings. Have a really super hip shop in Brooklyn, and that's in Sunset Park, right?
Yeah, on 34th. Between 4th and 5th.
Right. So, and that's a super cool place. It's almost like a guitar shop now. Where it was
a whole floor now.
I know.
Kind of
it wasn't the whole floor when I was there. It was like half the floor.
Yeah, and half the other floor was the salon.
Right, or
because
something
there's a photo studio upstairs.
Right.
Yeah. So I met Moss in 2011 because the shop he was closing, or the shop he was at was closing.
Right.
And I was like, dude, if you ever need a workbench, he showed up the next day with all of his tools. And Eli was like, what the fuck? I was like, it's gonna be
fine.
Cool.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. He's
but
gonna
Moss
help
is
me
like
a
a legend.
He taught me basically. Well, then I went from getting necks and bodies from Brian, then to actually starting to carve out my own necks and
he already
bodies.
Made his own thing.
Yeah, because
Moss was like I remember hearing of him like he was at Rudy's back then.
He was at
right?
Rudy's from '85 to 2000.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, you gotta go get your stuff done by this guy Moss.
Yeah,
you know, he's the
craziest guy.
Yeah, I remember like he had like the superstar clientele and all that. But he's just like a super cool guy.
Yeah, and he's just the sweetest guy and craziest, but so talented.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And just like, oh, I'm gonna do this way.
Well, that was kind of one of those magical things. Yeah. You know, you needed someone like that at that time.
Totally.
That's the way I always tell people. Like that's the way. I didn't really plan Mountain Cat the way it came out. It just came out that way. But if you have to be open to those things,
exactly.
So like the boutique guitar thing, I never did boutique guitars.
Yeah, because
I did vintage
really
guitars.
Exist.
So and then when it just kind of started happening, which was mostly an accident.
Yeah.
Because I was only going to rep Brian Monty and do vintage guitars. But I think when I put up the first website, I think people thought there were going to be builders. I just didn't list the rest of them yet.
Yeah. Then the builders started contacting me.
They started contacting me and saying, "Oh, you're opening a big boutique guitar shop," and I was like, I'm repping a builder.
Yeah.
I could probably rep more. But then I always tell this story. Doug Cower from Cower Guitars was the first guy to call me, and he sent me guitars. Yeah. He's like, "Can I send you some guitars?" And I was like, "Yeah."
I'm down.
I didn't know what they would be.
Yeah.
They're
the Banshees,
and they were.
Right?
No, it was before Banshees. It was when they were daylighters. His first model things, and they were really good. And he was really cool. So I was like, all right. It was great because he was willing to consign them with me.
Yeah.
And I had no money to start with. So and then he just said, hey, if you like my guitars, you should call Mike Potvin in Canada.
Yeah.
So I called Mike Potvin.
He's great.
Well, these guys needed somewhere where somebody could represent their guitars. And especially with access to New York City, and had been in the business for a little while, it didn't seem like he was just going to try to flip their shit on eBay and try to make some money.
Give it the respect of
right. So it just started growing that way, and I just kept following. Then I met Adam from Satellite, and it just started growing, and I liked it, and it was somewhere cool to go because the vintage market is not quite what it used to be.
Yeah, and you introduced me to Adam, who's a champion.
Right. That's right. Me and Adam came in a blizzard.
Yeah.
Because Adam didn't really know what a blizzard was.
No.
Because he never saw one before. So he came to New York and he's like, because one of his friends really wanted a Cobra guitar.
Yeah,
he's like, we have to go to Cobra's. Like, I have to check out those guitars, and we were bringing you an amp.
Yeah.
So it was like a monumental blizzard.
It was crazy.
And we decided we're going for it.
Yeah.
So we get into the city. You can't even park on the sides of the streets because there aren't any. And Adam's like, oh, it's not so bad. I'm like, I never California. You never even saw snow before. He had no idea what we were.
Yeah.
And somehow we got there, and then we hung out. Of course.
It was the best.
Yeah, and then somebody else was there. And then we dropped off.
Might have been Bob.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And we had like a wonderful time, and then we had to drive back home in the fucking blizzard. But yeah, he checked out the Cobra, and we dropped you off that amp.
Yeah. It was the
Which
best.
you took on tour.
I toured with it for a while.
Yeah.
That thing's awesome.
I have it in my house, actually.
I need that thing back.
You can have it.
I got room.
Yeah, just it wound up at my house.
Yeah.
You know, but.
Yeah, and then now you're doing a project with Adam, which is awesome.
Well, that's the cornet thing, which was another
so cool that Brian's making in another small world.
Yeah, well, it just kind of came together. Like, I forget how that even came up, but we were talking about something. We were talking about cornets or something.
Yeah.
Adam has one. They were like, let's make cornets. And then we just sort of did it.
Yeah.
You know, and it just kind of caught on in a really amazing way.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Where, like, a lot of the guitar players I like.
Josh is doing great finishing.
Yeah, like, you know, guys like, you know, like Mark Ford's playing one.
Yeah.
And, you know, Kirk from the Roots called for one, and you know,
I just ran into him the other day.
he's really, I went up sending that guitar because somehow it wound up with me. I sent it down to him, and he played it. He's like, I'm taking this, you know, like, and then, you know, Rich Robinson had one on the last Magpie Salute tour, and Audley Freed has 2 of them. Yeah,
then I had a bunch of guitars with him that I worked on and repainted through Doug Redler.
Right, for Rich. Yes, I saw a picture of him recently with that white SG.
I did that. And then I repainted that big black Falcon. Yeah. And I made that arm guard.
Yeah, I remember. I see him playing that. You know, like, fun. But yeah, I just happened to be looking at pictures of something. Magpie Salute, but I was like, that white SG, I remember that. I remember it was your place. You're like, oh, this is Rich Robinson.
Yeah, a mage.
I'm doing this. Yeah, that was early on.
Yeah, well, he had me do a bunch of his guitars, because remember in Sandy, he
had a big flood,
Yeah, and his red 335
got messed up.
And he's like, Gibson was doing it, do you want Tom Murphy to do it? He's like, no, I got Cobra, have him do it.
Right.
But then it was funny doing that guitar. It was like the finishing was so crazy on it, the new Gibson finishes. They're like plastic. Like
well, we talked to because I just had Josh on the last podcast, and he really explained what those finishes are.
It's like just plastic.
Plasticizer, so it won't weather check, it'll stretch.
Exactly, and that's what gets weird. It doesn't soak into the wood at all.
No.
If you get a chip, you can peel the whole, it's like an egg.
Yeah, that's what Josh explained, because he strips them every day.
That's why they sound weird, because it's not in the wood.
Right, it would sound better if you just stripped it off of there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, which was what we do, but then when Josh shoots a real finish.
Exactly, then it becomes...
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, how the wood resonates.
Even like the Beatles, they say the Beatles kind of started... They stripped everything. Yeah. And they
John
said...
Lennon's 330 was stripped.
The blonde one was the brown one.
Yeah.
You know, like, they just started stripping this, but they said it would do it, but even his J160E strip, I just thought he had a natural one also. That's the same guitar.
Yeah.
You know, but they said it. These companies aren't using the same lacquer they were using the 50, so you have to strip it off of there. And a lot of people say that they started the stripping thing, but I'm sure there were other people stripping things. But it made sense. They said it sounded better, which I'm sure it did.
That zip strip, that was nasty stuff.
That came up in the Night Pop one, where you're like sitting in your basement with this, and all of a sudden you're seeing things.
Yeah, you're like,
oh wait, this is crazy.
My hands feel funny.
Yeah. My legs feel really spongy. They're like, do it outside.
Yeah, no.
Don't do it in your house. Well, Nightbot was saying that he got like a black Strat from the guy down the street. He saw a picture of Jerry Garcia had a stripped Strat, so he decided to strip his. And then he's like stripping it under it is like Sonic Blue or something. So he stripped off 2 like custom colored finishes, and then doesn't realize that his is older and that Jerry's was ash. So it didn't look at it. He sells it to some guy down the street. But
oh man,
people did shit like that.
Yeah.
So, and you were shooting nitro at Cobra Guitars.
Always nitro, because I was vintage, like, and I was trying to be as pure as possible.
Well, that was the thing when Doug Coward first called, and like, especially when we got into the Banshees, you know, like, I wanted them to be nitro. I want everything to be nitro. And Doug explained it to me.
You just can't.
But I said, you know, I'm not into it. And he was like, look, you know, like, he's like, I can't shoot nitro where I am. You know, but he's like, the water-based stuff is this. If you shoot it properly, you shoot it thin enough, it is the same. The only thing it doesn't do, it's fine. It won't weather check in the same way.
Exactly.
So like,
so it's different.
So Josh can't do his thing too because it won't check like a vintage guitar. It checks in unpredictable ways.
Yeah.
But it is fine. You know, when he shoots it really thin, uses the right stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like
I still have a new bottle of water lacquered out. Dust piled on.
Right. I mean, I would always want things to be nitro because you get into that vintage thing.
Yeah, and I've stuck to it. I've been lucky with it. I got a new mask, so that's good enough.
That's
dizzy.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. I think guys had a lot of...
It kills you.
Yeah, I think a lot of those guys really got sick from that. You know. Like, Les used to, shoot nitro in the back of Chelsea. And he wouldn't have a mask on, and I would be like, dude, aren't you supposed to wear a mask? He'd be like, I can't see with that thing on.
Yeah, I know. I've used that excuse before.
That's not good. But but like he would like just shoot like little of it in the back of Chelsea. And all of a
you
sudden,
start
everyone would be like,
smelling it.
"Oh, what is
Yeah.
that? Open the door!" Like, "Oh, it's super toxic chemicals."
Yeah. That's what I was always doing outside of Chelsea Guitars, but it would definitely come in, and we were like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, like really, like the sidewalk in front of like Cobra Guitars was like yellow.
Because there was that brick wall I'd paint in front of it. There'd be guitar silhouettes of gold. Because also Brian Monty sent me that. I still have a little bit of it. That Gibson
The real gold
bronze
powder, yeah.
And it's like, whew, it's almost out.
Yeah, like,
but he sent me a whole thing. Then you just put some in there and you mix it, and it's real Gibson gold. It's like the right stuff.
I remember that. Yeah, that was always so much fun because you were just learning so much. Like anytime you hung out with anyone, you learned so much. And then even when the whole boutique thing broke loose, and then were all these other people building guitars you would talk to. Like that's why
everyone had their own thing.
Yeah, and you could communicate. All these guys met each other on forums.
Egos. It's just like
everyone's
together.
Yeah, that's why every builder I knew at a certain time, they all knew each other.
Exactly.
You know, they were all friends.
Yeah.
You know, so and
they
really
were broke down the barriers of like competition.
Yeah, it wasn't like competition at all.
Everyone's doing different shit.
Right. You know, no one had, and there was just so many cool. There were still so many people making so much cool stuff. But I say like this is the golden era of guitars because you can get a new guitar.
Yeah.
And you can get like a new Mexican Tele, and it's amazing.
They're great.
You know, like for $500, you can get an amazing guitar, and you can get a Fender Blues DeVille for $500, and you're in a band.
You're fine.
You know, you're fine. You will sound good.
Yeah.
So
you could be a pro.
You could be in tune, right? You know, it'll work and it'll sound good. Or you can go get all this handmade stuff. And there still is Gibson and Fender for
but then at that price, if you go to Fender for a master bill, you're spending $7,500, and then next to it, $69. Yeah,
you know,
totally.
for $2,200 or something is a better guitar probably because it really is nitro.
Totally, and it's handcrafted,
and it's a handmade guitar, so there's all of that going on too. So there's all these choices.
Yeah,
there's things like yours that look nothing like anybody else's guitars.
I've just taken all the stuff I've learned from you and Danny and Nightbot.
Well, you always had that aesthetic. Even the very first Cobra guitars had an interesting look.
Yeah.
So you just kind of keep pushing it.
I was always into the weird stuff.
Like, look at that guy. Can we start looking at these things, Daniel? Like, because there's just so many interesting things, and they're kind of staring me in the face. This is obviously a lap steel, and we will get to this. And do these things have names?
Yes.
Or do they not? I've never, because everyone's like, oh, what are the models? I'm like, you don't really make models so much because there are.
This one is the Night Owl.
Oh, okay, so they have proper names. I didn't even know that.
They kind of do, kind of don't.
And this is light, so I assume this is chambered.
This one's chambered. It's a one-piece mahogany body and then a thin cedar top.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so...
You don't see it, though. Oh, yeah, you can see it.
Yeah.
Oh, I never even knew these were...
Yeah. And then...
Oh, it's got crazy heavy flat wound.
Yeah, Eric, I got those from Labella from their brass flats, like 12 to 52. And so that was great too, like.
But this guitar really has a sound.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about like these mass-produced guitars that they generally like. This guitar has character.
Yeah.
You know what this is going to sound like when you plug it in.
Yeah.
You can hear it.
Well, that's what I learned from you and Danny too. It's like you pick up a guitar, you know what it's going to feel and sound like in 5 seconds.
Right. You don't have to plug this in.
Yeah.
You know, if the pickups work.
And that's where I've always gone with like. That's why I had to make my own pickups too, just like.
Right, you made all these pickups.
Yeah, because I used to use Lawlers who were
Well, I always
great.
tell that one story of like, because we discussed PAFs and all this and the greatest things ever, and I remember like the first pickup you ever made sounded amazing.
Yeah. Moss freaked
like, what
out.
the fuck? The first pickup you ever made. It's the best sounding pickup I've ever heard. Yeah. What's that all about?
Using a sewing machine.
I'm like, why is that sound?
Yeah,
like,
we still use the sewing machine.
We put it in a guitar. It was like, it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Like, what is with it? You know, it's funny. It's like half of it's like this thing where like it has to be made by elves and with magic things on another planet or something. But then you made one with like a sewing machine. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, because Moss learned.
Well, right, someone knew what they were doing.
Yeah, so Moss learned on like YouTube saw some guy and he's like, oh, great, I can do that. So started doing it, and then that was right when he moved into my shop.
Right.
So then he's like, dude, why aren't you making your own pickups? I was like, you can do that?
Right.
Yeah, great, let's do it. And he's like, dude, I couldn't believe the first one you made, I put in a guitar. He's like,
I remember Mojo
great.
going like, hey, Cobra made this pickup, and it's the best pickup ever. And I was like, what are you talking about? He doesn't even have me. He's like, oh, yeah, you made a pickup.
So it's been fun. So like, I've been doing ones without the pole pieces.
Yeah, I see that.
So you can get them quieter, so it's more potted, and they have a bit more mid-range to it. And then this P90 I wound has actually a dummy coil in the bottom of it, so it's quiet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's like you figure out these little things and you
Well,
learn
what we're going
tricks.
to do
And
at the end, so Daniel can cut them into this, is we'll just play them. We'll make little demo videos for all of these, and you can explain what's going on with them because these really are different, than most people's guitars.
Yeah.
This one really is interesting. I love this model.
yeah, that one is my main guitar. I've been touring with that one for years. American Airlines even smashed it.
Oh yeah.
They sent me a check. It was nice. I was like, I gotta find the builder. I gotta find the guy.
It's killer. And then this one is obviously right here. So what's this one called?
This one.
This one's obviously chambered too.
Yeah, that one's also mahogany, but with a flame maple, like quilted maple top, and a maple neck and a roasted maple fingerboard.
Now, what is the roasted thing?
I've been into it a little bit. It's just more kiln dried.
Right.
So to me, it's like a
Because you hear that
presence.
all the time now.
To me, it's like the presence knob on a Fender.
Is that right?
It just kind of opens up the top, and it's definitely a little brighter.
Interesting.
Because
What is it doing?
it's taking more moisture out. Yeah.
Interesting.
And it also darkens the wood, so it gives it a little bit of a different. Because that's
is
maple.
just maple?
That's maple.
Oh, and it just
that's
becomes that color.
quarter sawn maple.
Wow. Oh, yeah, you can see the back of it.
Yeah, that's
just a
normal
totally different
maple.
color.
Yeah.
Oh, so you just did the fretboard?
Yeah, I got it like that. You just order it.
Oh, you order it. Oh, you don't.
Yeah, I just got it from my. Oh, no, I don't have a kiln, so I just had my wood guy just like, yeah, I'll take that.
That's interesting. I never knew what the whole roasting thing was. You keep hearing that
It's
now.
cool. It's just a way to try it because maple's maple.
Right.
Now with
You hand
all
carve
now,
these necks, I
yeah,
assume. This was
carving
amazing.
everything. So I'm just getting blocks of wood now. Just got a new bandsaw, which I'm excited about.
Listen. And these guitars really have a personality.
Yeah, I love that one.
And this one's got like regular electric guitar shapes
Yeah.
on it, but that's probably a friend of yours or something, right?
Yeah, this one I made for my friend Sam.
And what's that one
This
called?
one's number 25.
You've made 25 of those?
I'm up to 28 now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Oh, you've been busy.
been very busy.
And what's that model called?
Bang.
Sorry, buddy.
I don't remember. I named this one.
Well, good. So I don't feel bad because I don't know the names because
No.
you don't know them.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's this thing. Well,
What's that thing?
What if I want to order one of these later?
You just call me.
Just
Send me that
How about
one.
one of that?
So
I remember this guy.
This one's a special one. That one, I was like, I gotta make myself a guitar, and I ordered this.
Oh man, listen. To this.
Yeah.
It's huge. Because it's right. Not all big guitars sound really big,
Yeah,
but this
yeah.
one certainly does.
So this one was kind of the start and the prototype how I've been doing my hollow bodies now. I got a huge piece of maple and I cut it down the middle, and then
Wow.
cut around, so like a ½ inch all the way around, and then re-glued it. So it was like a skeleton, and then put a back bracing in the top. So
Good
it's an
job.
old redwood top, maple sides, and then a Brazilian rosewood back I got from Brian Monte years ago.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
This guitar sounds amazing.
And that's just a maple neck with a V and then a maple fingerboard.
I've seen a lot of pictures of you playing with.
Yeah, I've played that one a lot. And then I did volume and tone for each pickup.
That's fun.
So it's like I've
Did you
always
make these pickups?
Yeah. So I've been getting more into now just like cutting more, like I've been cutting all my aluminum pickguards.
Yeah. Well, that's like the evolution of things.
Yeah,
You know, like
because like there's things like you can buy pickup rings or
make them.
Make 'em.
Yeah, that's like Josh's thing. He's like, oh, I could just make that.
yeah.
You know, like
It's like Tony Zamitis and D'Angelico have been like my two main favorite builders. And it's like they make weird shit, like weird pickguards and weird pickup rings and
Yeah, so Midas
aluminum
was the
stuff.
first one you really saw that did like
Custom,
just like that's not a Gibson or a Fender.
exactly.
Some
Has his own
other
weird
thing.
scale,
Right.
skinny neck, and a limbic. And there's also that. Those are like the
Yeah,
three.
well, by the early '70s, yeah, there was stuff going on.
Yeah.
You know, like, but because Olympic was doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
There were tons. Yeah, there was Valinos.
Exactly.
You know, there was
Remember that one Danny had from
Yeah.
Florida or something?
And then someone bought the name from Minute.
Yeah, and
Danny
started
bought a few
making
of those
them
and they
again.
got sued immediately and
Yeah.
stopped. But Danny had a few
with the red, with the ruby
Yeah,
or
and
something.
that stuff.
Yeah.
But like, and Danny had a Valino body
Yeah.
without a neck.
I
He was
remember
always looking
that.
for a neck.
Yeah. Didn't
I
you
think he-
always want that or?
Yeah, I think eventually he found one, but
Yeah.
I don't think they made that many of those.
No.
You know, so like Greg Allman had one, and someone like Todd Rundgren had one.
I remember that.
And a couple other people. I think
Yeah.
it was like a bass or something, but But yeah, I'm sort of surprised no one's written a book on that.
Yeah.
You know, like there were so many of those small builders that came
Totally.
and went. You know, like
But all that stuff like got in my head of all the weird guitars and shit we had at Chelsea and stuff, and just stuff we got to see.
well, that's what's supposed to happen. Is
Yeah.
you sort of see all this stuff and then you come up with what you think is the coolest parts of all.
That's what I got with all the
guitars.
knobs and like as many pickups as you
Right,
can.
it's almost like an
and
ES5.
I always
you know?
want like a huge headstock. So now
Right.
I have 3 different headstocks. I have this one, the 6-in-line,
Oh, so you could make, say, that guitar with this headstock and
anything.
Oh, that's interesting.
So then also with bass, I do 2 in a side
Right,
or 4 in line.
right.
And then I've been getting a lot of orders now with that headstock reversed.
Oh, interesting.
So I just made a
Oh, so it
guitar
comes
for
on the
Richard
outside.
Fortas from Guns N' Roses.
saw that.
That was really fun. I was like,
That was kind of this model with the.
no, it was a really long.
That's right. It was something I'd never really saw before.
Yeah, I put a few guitars together because we designed these like I want to offset 335-ish thing.
Oh, he designed that with you.
Yeah, we were on the phone a bunch. It was an amazing experience because I used to work on his guitars a little bit
Right.
at 30th Street, and
That's right.
then I just hit him up. I was like, dude, I'd be honored to do a guitar with you, you know? And he was like, dude, I'm down. So I was like shitting my pants.
Did you bring it to like sound check at the garden
Yeah.
or something?
And I just finished it the day before, so I'm like, the same thing. It's always last
the screws in the
screws.
cab on the way over there.
And and then he's like, dude, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but like, can you bring it to soundtrack? I was like, yes, I can.
Yeah, Slash will be there.
And I've
I'm on my
also
way.
think I just like didn't mention it's like that's my favorite band in the
Right.
world. So like,
I mean, when I met you, you had like the
dying.
Slash Les Paul.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. I'm
you
dying.
were all about the Guns N' Roses. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So then we designed this guitar together, and it was cool. It was like one pickup, and it was like a 335 up here, and then this guitar's horn, but
Right.
pushed up forward.
Yeah, it was
It
really
was a lot
different.
of few different guitars, then a semi-hollow, but then a half-inch cedar top,
Wow.
and a mahogany body, and then it was a Gibson scale.
And then how long does it take you to build something like that? Like, how long does it take? Like, if someone placed an order for this tomorrow,
Be like
how long does it take you to build a guitar like this?
straight from scratch, like a month or two.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No.
Oh, that's how you're able. So you're a faster builder than some people.
I mean, I've
But if you've already built 28 of this.
no, of all of them, all together, not just
okay.
this model.
Oh, it's 28 guitars.
Just I number each one.
Oh, okay. So they
Yeah.
don't have their each
No.
thing.
Yeah, and then I've always cut out my logo with
Yeah,
the
that's-
jeweler's saw, each one at a time, and it would take me about a couple hours each, and then I finally just got logos.
That's cool.
But I'll still do this if somebody wants, but it's just a different option now.
Right.
But
That's really cool, though.
Yeah, it's been fun to do that. It's like,
And do you
oh.
still do the Firebird thing?
I did one recently. I did. This one went to this guy Michael in England. Reverse headstock, Firebird 3 mini humbuckers.
So that was black or something.
Yeah,
right?
black
That
with
was
the aluminum
cool.
pickguard. But that was like this, chambered, thin cedar top.
And it was a bolt-on or a
Bolt-on.
Setback?
Bolt-on.
Yeah, your Firebirds are bolt-on.
Yeah,
right?
everything I've only done one set neck.
That's right. These are all bolt-on.
Yeah, I kind of like the sound more.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
It's a little brighter. Like
Yeah.
because I use flats and a lot of echo and reverb, so I always tend to go brighter.
Right.
Because you can always tone down.
that's what I always thought.
Bright. You
know,
can't.
when guitars
you
are too
can't
dark,
brighten
they're
up,
unusable.
Yeah.
You know, like
you can't brighten up a guitar
Right. That's
without
what-
it sounding.
right. As long as it's not just completely shrill.
Yeah,
like, you can always
exactly.
just back things
Yeah,
off.
exactly.
You know, like
I like the headroom.
I think it's huge.
Yeah, I think that's like 17 inches.
Yeah, it's
that
like an
one.
acoustic guitar.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that one. Yeah, and it's been a fun, like.
Your guitars have really evolved. If you go on your like Instagram page and you go through them, you could see the evolution of them.
Yeah, they've definitely
becoming a thing.
just get better and better. Of
or
me
you find your
learning.
voice inside of these guitars.
Totally.
You know, like that's what's supposed to happen.
Exactly.
You like-
I feel like a thing with making the pick guards and the pickup rings, like it starts there and the shapes.
Right.
Like definitely started
Because
with
you took a different path than a lot of builders. You know,
Yeah.
like when you know, like you and me, you were already in a band that was doing all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
And you were in New York City, and you were always good at promoting your stuff anyway. Like when
Yeah.
you opened Cobra Guitars, you had Billy Gibbons there like the second week.
Yeah.
You know, people would dream, like die to have
Yeah.
like people, but you were already had a lot of buzz around your stuff. Like
Yeah.
Cobra
It was-
Guitars had a shitload of buzz right up from the gate.
Yeah, that was a funny thing too. Of like I remember I got that 3-page spread in Premiere Guitar like
Right.
2 months into it. And I was like,
Other builders used to go to me like, how is Cobra doing that? I'm like, it's just the way he rolls. He's in New York City. He's playing
out till 5 in the morning every day.
Yeah, when you just saw a guitar to
some
some guy at like 5 in the morning at a bar.
A few times. Yeah. Well, that was the best about, like, it was all coincidence of, like, Jeff working at the bar.
Right.
We had the band together. And, like, I couldn't afford to go out every night.
Right.
But Jeff was bartending.
Right, well, that's how you do it in New York City.
Yeah.
If you're like us, you just have to go to where your friends are. Because in Torrent Framewood, my bass player was a bartender.
We went to Chenet Bar because it was the only place I can get in at 18. Because you introduced me and you're like, oh, he's in the band.
Right.
And then we were good.
And we could drink for free.
Yeah. And go crazy. It's like, so there's that, and then the band, and then, just going out. And
well, you're always very good at promoting your stuff. Where a lot of the builders are really good at building, but they're not particularly good. And they're not in New York City. So they don't have access to that kind of thing. But you were out doing your thing. You were perfectly in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and going to venues and stuff. And then you end up hanging out with all the guys in the bands or playing a festival and like, what are those guitars?
Right. People would always go to me like, oh, how does Cobra get all that attention for his stuff? And I was like, well, he's in New York City. He's playing in a big band, and he's just very good at talking to people. That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of builders just want to be holed up somewhere in the middle of nowhere and be left alone to do their shit. Which is cool.
Lose my shit.
That's fine, but you do have to. With the internet, you can promote and you can get something going. But you were really doing street level.
I was bringing guitars out to bars because they were aged. Yeah. I was like, oh, pour some whiskey on it. Why not? Like, it was fun. But then having the shop on 3rd Street, bar's done at 4.
Let's go back.
Let's go listen to records and hang out. That's where I met my really good friend Matt Sweeney, and he's been amazing. And I'm actually making a guitar for him now.
Yeah, I think every time I went to Cobra Guitars, someone was sleeping on the couch.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens.
Or it was like, where's Cobra? He's sleeping back there.
Sam slept there for a month.
Oh, Sam lived there for a while, right?
Yeah. With his like stripper girlfriend.
And the place was like the size of over there.
Yeah. When Ma started working there, he would come in at 10 a.m. We're like, you're still up. Matt's on the
that
floor.
guy doesn't look too good.
Come on, guys. Time to work. Start playing some like Shaka Khan or Chic. All right.
Yeah, I remember going there with Night Bob one day, and you guys were smoking away, and everybody's carrying on, and Bob just goes like, "This is what places like this were like in the '70s."
Remember, I had my old phone from the funeral home. And then I had my Park stack, my Marshall stack.
Yeah, the stereo was like super slow.
Yeah. And we didn't notice that until like a year or two later.
Like, why does that sound so weird? And the guy was really high. Yeah. It's like going half speed, and it was
like. But I got really into it. So then,
then you were trying to tell me one day it sounds better.
Yeah. It's like, dude, this Guns N' Roses sounds better. Like,
at half speed.
Appetite for Destruction sounds better slower. Sounds like Aerosmith. It's awesome. And it's like it, but it's Doug. It sounds bigger.
Yeah, you were trying to explain it to me one day. Like
shut up, Cobra.
Yeah, I was like,
get a new
no,
record
it just
player.
sounds slow. It's in the wrong key, and and Axl's voice is no longer high.
You can't play with anything.
I was like, welcome to the jungle.
It's like, this is my speed.
I don't think it's that awesome. And you're just really high, and it sounds okay.
It worked.
But that was like, that's part of the thing too.
Yeah.
That's one thing that about cult, especially, and that's why, it's terrible to say, but that's why Cobra Guitars was getting a lot of events, because you guys were really living it. You guys were really doing the thing.
Yeah.
And really getting out there. And, this is artistry, and it's music.
Yeah.
So, like,
that's the
you
most
can look at it
important
as, like, some scientific thing, but if you're really living your art and doing your thing, there's something to that, and people want to be a part of that.
Definitely.
So you were really you had the whole package. You had this whole idea. You had a band that was playing these guitars, and you were doing it. You were out every night, networking with bands and doing the thing, and that's how, and you formed the guitar company.
Yeah.
So, like, because I always forget things, a lot of people who would watch these podcasts.
You can't write it. You can't.
Right. You can't. You just have to do your thing. Like, you can't kind of half-ass do your thing.
There's like rules and what you should do, but then it's like there's things that you can't control.
Right. And with the internet, you hear stories of all the time of people pursuing their passion. Like, I always think, if there were these things when I was young, I would probably watch them and try to figure out how I could become like those people who get to do this for a living. When you're a kid and you're trying to figure out how you're going to, like, what are you going to be when you're going to be older? And if you
Totally.
if you love music and you want to be a guitar player, there's a chance that it may not work out where you can be a professional guitar player.
Totally.
But you want to be around guitars. You didn't really know there were all these other alternative things like guitars. You could work in a guitar shop. You didn't quite figure that out yet. But but now people know. So I figure people, someone like Josh or I had Alex Glasser, who's a big time luthier kind of guy, or Jamie Simpson who builds amps, or Jeff from Champtone. These are people who are making their living doing the thing that they love.
Yeah.
So a lot of it, I think people will be like, well, how did you become these things? Your story is somewhat unique in that you were really just doing your thing. Well, and you get some lucky breaks. You get a job at Chelsea.
Eli. Yeah, right. Met you and and those things that line up.
Yeah, I met Les. A lot of people, it was meeting me.
Totally.
Because I hired.
It's like, you can work at a guitar store. It's like you don't even think about, I can get paid for this.
Right. Well, because I used to hang out at Chelsea Guitars, so I wanted to work there. Yeah. But there really weren't jobs, and I wanted to work in a guitar shop in New York City, but there weren't jobs. Yeah. I didn't have guitar shop experience, so you go and try to get a job in them, but they weren't going to talk to you if you hadn't worked in a guitar shop.
Totally. Well, that was the same thing with me. Like Danny's like, all right, you have this guy, have him talk to me and tell me you have a good head on your shoulders.
People would send us resumes every day. People wanted to work in a guitar shop. That's what I would want to do. It was like my dream. I had other jobs when I moved to New York, just like whatever job you found in the New York Times, working in a warehouse or whatever. And you just play. Yeah. And it was fine as long as it was tolerable and it didn't. You could show up really.
But there's a thing too of a lot of times you're either in the band or you work at the guitar shop.
Right.
And we both had both.
Right, doing both, it just made perfect sense to me.
Yeah,
you hang out in Chelsea all day, and then you go to rehearsal or you go to a gig at night, and it was the perfect life. I was like, I could do this for the rest of my life and be happy.
Yeah.
Same here.
You're
never gonna make any money, but who gives a shit? Totally. I was having a great time playing in a band with Mike Whitty and all those folks, and my band and your band would always play at Shea Bar. We were just having the times of our lives.
And just meeting so many great people.
Yeah, we're out every night playing a place, and then we were playing at Shea Bar, kind of secretly.
Well, yeah, because there was a couple times of doing that. Then I think there was school the next day. Of all right, now we got to go in and shut up. Can't say anything. Yeah. Can't tell anybody I got a couple cool points of telling this chick or whatever, or somebody I played at Continental last night.
Right, how old are you?
What's that? Yeah. What's the Continental?
Yeah. I played there a lot.
Yeah, and Dave and Joe having to come into work, just those old Subjects days, right when we were hanging out. It was
yeah, that was great. Yeah,
we graduated, and then it's all right, now let's do this.
Yeah, now let's go for it.
Now we're going on tour, start working at Chelsea.
Yeah, it opened up so many doors, and you would just meet people all day, so it just, it allowed all of us to become this.
Yeah, imagine when we were hanging out, it's when you're 30, you're going to have your own guitar shop with Labella and Moss, and you're going to have your own guitar shop upstate. You're I'm not leaving the city.
Yeah, exactly. I would have never left Chelsea anyway. Things evolved. When I first there was no internet.
Yeah.
So it was a different way of doing things.
We had the Groon's book.
Right. I always tell that we did everything out of the Groon book.
Yeah.
One little book. It was falling apart. It was taped together. But that's how you found the serial numbers.
This page is missing.
Yeah. Or somebody where's the fucking Groon book? With that, we were lost. Who had it last?
Yeah.
It's back in the shop. Shit.
Roger.
Yeah. You'd be lost without the Groon book. And people would be like, can I borrow this? We're like, no. We won't be able to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
It was the only. It wasn't even totally accurate, but it was the only
ballpark
close information. What is this guitar? I don't know. It's this.
Yeah. It's a 355T.
Right, what does that mean? What year did they make this from?
1 year.
What does the serial number mean?
Yeah.
Oh, it's an A at the beginning. Oh, they did that. Oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But that was the only way to know that stuff. Totally. Now you just go on the internet. But it was a different world because you had, and the thing with guitar shops back then is you had to go to them to buy your strings. Mm-hmm. You had to go to them to buy a pick.
Yeah.
That's what went away. That was the revenue stream of guitar.
It was repairs, picks, cables, and
I used to tell people that we never had to sell a single guitar.
Yeah. As long as
all that was happening. We made a lot of money on repairs.
Yeah.
But everyone who came to the guitar shop basically left $50 there. Because as long as you're there, you can grab a couple sets of strings. I lost my cable at the last gig, and I lost my stand. And look at that cool new slide. I'll take one of those too. So the cash is always coming in, and that paid salaries.
Exactly.
That's all gone now.
Yeah.
That's why, for a lot of reasons,
there's reverb and
which is great.
Yeah.
It allowed me to do what I do without.
You have to pivot.
Right.
It's all right, change the business model.
Right. It changed and. It changed right when reverb and all those things started. I was already doing Mountain Cat, but Mountain Cat, the idea of it was I bought a house that had a building in it or a business in it. I didn't want a store. Like
Yeah,
when
I
I was
remember we
leaving the
always
city,
talked
I was
about
like, I can't do guitar stores anymore.
Like I can do a
I
storefront,
don't-
but that's not the point.
Yeah, and I didn't enjoy it anymore.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed it at Chelsea.
Yeah.
You know, I lived for it.
Exactly.
You know, like I would go there. I think I
We were both there on our days off.
yeah. The first like 6 years I worked there, I worked 6 days a week. I never took a day off or a sick because I couldn't.
Even. Yeah, exactly. Because you
I never took a vacation. I
Yeah.
didn't live. You know, the only time I left the island of Manhattan was to play a gig.
Yeah.
I never went on vacation. Like,
Yeah,
why would I go on
yeah.
vacation?
I've been there. Yeah.
I would just want to be like, well, what's going on at the guitar store?
Yeah,
You know, like
that's fun. Oh,
Yeah.
G's around or Yule's around.
Yeah, it was
I wanna
supposed to
hear Yule
close
play
at
some Queen.
Right. It was supposed to close at 7 o'clock. Like
Close at 10.
10 o'clock. Danny would be like, order a pizza.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, how about the White Castle? The White Castle.
yeah.
Those contests.
Yeah, those were fun. Well, that was right when you first started working there. You
Yeah.
claimed you could eat like 50 White Castles or something.
I tried.
I know, it was gross. That was during our harsh White Castle.
Oh,
After
man.
every gig,
Yeah.
we'd give Roger $100 and be like, go to White Castle.
Get a crave
Or
case.
you, right? And meet at my apartment. Like 10 dudes eating White Castle.
Yeah. Oh, so
Oh,
sorry.
that was harsh.
Yeah.
When we were young, your body could handle it.
Exactly.
We had a theory that if you ate White Castle and then you went to the gym the next day, you were stronger. And it seemed to be true.
I think so. You put your body through turmoil,
Yeah.
and then you just
Yeah, because your
work it out.
innards now have been abused so badly
Yeah, it's all
that they have
working
superhuman
out.
strength.
Yeah.
Like now you would die.
Yeah. Like, no, thank you.
I still like White Castle, but I don't really
No,
meat anymore.
I haven't
but
touched it. for a
No, there's
minute.
one near here.
Ooh. To get that on the way out.
It's not far. I've only gone
Is
there
it the
like
actual
twice.
castle though,
It's a
or
White
is it
Castle.
in the thing?
No, it's a White Castle.
Oh wow.
It was
They-
the one
they've taken
because
out
I
all the
grew up near
castles.
here. I remember when they opened it.
Wow.
You know,
That's
like
good.
And then I grew up near here, so like when I was in like young, we would get drunk at the New City pub. I grew up in a town called New City, and that would close at like 3 o'clock, and every single person would get in their car, and everyone would head towards White Castle, and you'd see all the same exact people. But they wouldn't let you in the White Castle because everyone was so drunk there would be fights every night, so you could only use the drive-thru.
Right.
So like the whole town would be hanging out in the
Walking
parking lot.
in a line.
The whole party would just go there. You eat White Castle, and then you go home
man.
and sleep all day,
Yeah.
and then do it again. Then that's what you do when you're young.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the best.
This is the conclusion of episode 8, which was part 1 of our talk with James Cobra Carbonetti from Carbonetti Guitars. And we hope you enjoyed it. And you could find these on YouTube and iTunes. And you can find more information about these on my website, which is mountaincatguitars.com, or on Cobra's website, which is...
Instagram.com/Carbonetti Guitars.
And thank you. And episode 9 will be part 2 of our talk with James.